it's a difficult one to call, Mike. Nice to see that, what have we got, some 21 athletes starting within the first minute?
It is, yeah. Patrick Oberegger just zeroing, centering the rifles. There's very little wind influence there. Patrick Favre for the French team, the Italian for the French team, just scoping. So all the athletes you get 45 minutes as a team, so you manage your athletes to come onto the shooting lane. The race sights are absolutely in this season. Martin Fourcade, it's been done in the past, it was done 25 years ago. But more athletes are raising those sights now, and it builds a better position in stand shooting.
Well, just a couple of minutes to go before the start of the men's pursuit here in Hochfilzen. Martin Fourcade has work to do. He starts down in number 10. He's won the pursuit here 5 times, but 3 of those he started first. He's had one where he started 3rd. He's had one when he started 7th, I think. But today he starts number 10, and he's 41 seconds down. It's not beyond him, but with so many men now skiing at roughly the same speed as him, it's going to be a much, much harder task. And actually, Mike, his standing shoot, which used to be bulletproof, has proved a little bit frail this year. And
I think that's what's made Martin Fourcade in the past stand out, is because he's the key athlete who was able to manage the final shooting. Always was strong. Here's the track today, and they'll be going around this track 5 times, all the way to the top of the climb, but turning earlier today. Yesterday they continued all the way to the right. So in fact it has cut out the final second kicker on that climb. Relatively a simple track, and I think this track does allow, rank, let's say in terms of ski speed, the athlete ranked say 40th to stay with the pace for longer. There's no major take the second part of that climb out, and you are allowing mid-range athletes to be able to stay with this pace. So if an athlete from further back at say bib 30 can get all the targets down, but there is an opportunity to move forward. I absolutely agree with you, Mike. I think you do get closer racing, exciting racing here, but we nearly always see some developments on the last lap. If you think back to the World Championships, some of the sprint finishes that Johannes Tingis had to put in when he lost the sprint to Dull by a fraction of a second. You see so much drama on the last lap. We saw it this morning in the women's relay. 15 seconds clawed back by Norway on that last 2K. Yes, so you need the strong ski speed. 15 seconds is a huge margin. Logging off. Reminds me of the World Championships here. Shipulin in this race moved up from 21st all the way to 4th, just off the podium. Simon Dessieux, can he get a win today? Certainly. He will be feeling that is the case. He's never finished better than second. Today he starts just 8 seconds behind this man. And Johannes Tingis, yes, he's skiing well, maybe not as fast as last year, but he's still the fastest man out there. What will he do on the range? We saw him crack at the World Championships last year when he was in what seemed like an unbeatable situation. So I think all the athletes know that there is a chance that Bö will lose it rather than they will win it. Yeah, and remember the World Championships, Johannes, he shot clear the first time in, first pro, and then he missed one. He was still ahead by 57 seconds, and then he missed 3 out of 5 on the final shoot. The pressure shoot, the final 5 standing. And that allowed Pedro
of Ukraine to come through and take the title. He starts number 9. Further down the order, Arndt Pfeiffer. Haven't seen anything from him so far this year, but he's a big occasion man. Sean Doherty of the USA got points in the sprint. He'd like to add to those today. Garanichev, way off the mark yesterday, down in 41st. And Cheng of China, just missing out on World Cup points, which is what they've been aiming at. Certainly there seems to have been a change in the Chinese form. I think the skis are a key, and that's something that Uliane Bjorndalen was adamant about. He wouldn't take the role unless they got decent skis.
And it's such a factor, and he's clearly put that together. We're seeing stronger performances in the women's field as well as the men. So China, absolutely the nation that's cutting through, making a big difference this year.
The start in the middle of the penalty loop. They'll be hoping to avoid that today, but no spare rounds in the pursuit. So every single mistake incurring that 150-meter penalty. Johannes Tingis, a big yawn. That's not unusual at the start of the race, and actually not a bad thing because it stretches the lungs to absolute maximum capacity. Dessieux, how cool is he inside? Certainly looks good from the outside.
Looking very calm. Is he the duck floating on top of the water? Is he panicking inside? Yes, I think he will be. But his strategy will be to try and close in on Johannes' first lap. 8 seconds is a long margin. You're logging off, it's a tough task. He's losing, what, some 10 seconds a lap to Johannes?
Alisiev started the season well with a 3rd place in the sprint in Östersund. He backed it up with a 4th place in the sprint here yesterday in Hochfilzen. So those are the first 4. And then we have Lukas Hofer of Italy. Tadej Bö starting 6. Vindisch of Italy having a good season. We've seen some good relay performances from him already. And then Leitner of Austria starting number 8. It won't be long before the countdown starts. Here we go, just 3 seconds, and then Johannes Tingis is back out on the tracks on his own. 8 seconds to play with over Dessieux, 15 seconds over Loginov, and 21 over Alisiev of Russia, who starts number 4. I always enjoy the first kilometre, Mike, because you get to see what the intentions are of the chasing athletes. Are they going to try and close it down straight away, or do they just settle down? From the women's relay earlier today, we learned that a conservative approach to closing a gap is definitely more effective.
It seems that way, and without a doubt, Dessieux set his stall out. He was attacking to try and pull 8 seconds back on Johannes Tingis Bö.
Vindisch is going for it in the early stages. Leitner, there goes Martin Fourcade. The clock already at 40 seconds. He's got a massive amount of work to do. A blistering start from Johannes Dale of Norway, who starts number 12. 14, that's Fionn Maillet. Bjørntegard behind him. Antonin Guiganard starting in the French colours, and alongside a very, very cool-looking Timothy Lapshin of Racing for Career with a 52-second deficit. And then the Germans get underway. Horn and Kern starting 19 and 20. What has happened to Germany so far this year?
Well, the men a little stronger, and 4 of them between positions 19 and 26. And here's the older of the Eberhard brothers just about to set off. Toby underway. He shot well yesterday. That's often what lets him down.
So the first 40 out on the tracks already, but with a margin of 1:30, about 800 meters between number 30 and number 1, who is Johannes Tingis Bö. We'll get an indication, we'll get a time split before they come back to the range. And in fact, we're going to get one in about 30 seconds time. Down the hill, round that right corner that you can see at the back of the picture. And then there's a timing one just there. Good start from Loginov, Mike. He was some 7 seconds down on Dessieux. He seems to have closed that.
It's quite interesting because Johannes Tingis Bö set the fastest track time, only 0.2 of a second faster than Fionn Maillet. Dessieux was 3rd fastest, 6 seconds slower than this man. And you know what I think? I think that Johannes is pushing a real hard pace here. Dessieux is trying to close it down. And you know, this could be their undoing, hitting this first lap so hard. coming into the first shoot. We'll have to wait and see. Or the other alternative, later on laps 3, 4 and 5, Desio, if he has hit this too hard, or he's dropped pace already,
yeah,
if he has hit this too hard, may well suffer a lot later.
Yeah, Loginov has closed by 1.5 seconds. Hofer has gone up into 4 ahead of Alisiev. Hofer started at 21, so he's lost a bit of time as well. 5 seconds given away. Martin Fourcade just going through. He's 39, and he started at 39. So no gains, no losses for Martin Fourcade. Benedict Doll was just behind him on the start sheet. So a lonely leader at the moment.
2.5 kilometers each rotation, round the same track they'll be going. And coming up towards the high point, Desio is still trying. I think he's still lying at 13 seconds. Looks like Loginov has managed to close down. That's against expectations, closing the gap to Desio.
Another 2 seconds have gone begging for the Frenchman. Loginov now at 20, still just under 6 seconds behind Desio, so a few more fractions pulled back. Hofer is working hard, but could probably do with some help out there. A little bit isolated. Alisiev, Taliabeau at 30. Taliabeau very quick yesterday. Fastest last lap from Taliabeau yesterday, Mike.
He looked so strong. He missed 2 targets. I think he's got a chance today because he seems to be controlling his pace there, Taliabeau, there at the back of the group ahead there, and he's certainly not going full pace yet.
Martin Fourcade is on the charge. He leads this second group of chasers ahead of Pigdrushny, the world champion. We've got number 11 in there as well, Benedict Doll, who took a world title in the sprint on these tracks back in 2017. He's looked pretty quick, and actually I've got Doll in my top 8 in terms of ski speed. Johannes Tingis, Fiormaillet, Desio, Taliabeau, Kern, Fourcade, Doll, Hofer. They're the fastest men on the snow so far this season.
It looks to me, Patrick, that Martin Fourcade is running or skiing at the same pace as Johannes Tingis Bö, and based on yesterday, he's stretching himself to stay with his pace. But if you want to win it, you have to attack. You have to try and close the leaders down. Is it possible? It's unlikely on the track.
Now, last year, remember, Johannes Tingis started first and he dropped all the way to 9th. Can you remember the shooting scores last year?
I looked at them earlier. I think he missed 5. I expected more from him. I did have that result with me.
No win to speak of.
Yes, he shot 0, 3, 1, 2. Actually missing 6 last year. Slightly low that shot, but in the hit, exact same place, second shot. Accurate shooting, but if I was his coach, I would say take your sights up next time for Prone.
Well, that might stop him.
The last shot balanced that out, but that was well controlled under extreme pressure of the rest of the world coming in.
We see that so often, Mike. First 4 go in the same place, and then the 5th one is elsewhere, sometimes on the target, sometimes off it. Simon Desio makes his first mistake. That's going to prove very expensive in terms of positions with so many on the range at the moment. Loginov rattling through the targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down they go. Good shooting from Loginov. Hofer of Italy skiing well, shooting well. Taliabeau is clear. Alisiev is clear. Martin Fourcade taking an age to get that first round away, and that generally is because he's pushed so hard out on the tracks, but he then makes sure 5 go down. Doll, Dale, Vindish. Oh, Vindish throws one wide, but out of the first 10 athletes, Mike, only 2 missing a target.
Let's be honest, the shooting we've witnessed there is spectacular. Christensen, he's a man you would say would get 5 out of 5. His percentages are so good in prone shooting, and that's come with the ski pace. He's had to live with a faster pace than he's comfortable.
now. 46 seconds separating the top 10. At the start of the race, 39, so no massive gains by Johannes Tingesbø, but he has opened up a bit of a gap between himself and number 2. He's opened up a penalty loop, so even if he misses one on the next shoot, which again is in the prone position, he's in control of the race at this stage. But it was the second shoot where it went wrong last year. Solid shooting from Alexander Loginov of Russia, puts him up ahead of Simon Dessure, incidentally, of France, dropping from 2nd down into 9th place. Got it all to do now, a 45-second deficit on the leader. Tadej chasing his brother, who leads this race. Lukas Hofer tucked in behind him. Then Alisiev just back there. And is that Loginov in that group as well? It is. Loginov and Alisiev's sitting 3 and 4 in this group. But this man out on his own. What it must be like to lead World Cup after World Cup. You know, don't think there's any doubt, Mike, that complacency hasn't set in yet. He's well aware that his ski speed this year is nowhere near as good as it was last year relative to the other top contenders. So he's just got to be spot on in terms of tactics.
I love what he's doing this season. He played it down. He said, no, I mean, 16 wins. Well, no one had ever achieved that before in one racing season in biathlon. The odds are stacked against you. Windy days, you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have some bad shooting. It's a given. So he said it's almost impossible to achieve that again, but I think he's slowly getting his old magic back, Johannes Tinges.
Lukas Hofer getting some information relative to the targets. Would you rather see where your shots fell, or would you rather that the coach said, put your sights up too?
Oh, I would only want to see where my shots fell. What has happened here is that Iliev, he's lost a ski, he's broken a ski. In fact, the bindings come off.
That's Sinopov. Yeah, that's a bit of bad luck for Sinopov.
Oh, that's unusual. You put those bindings on, you expect them to stay on. It's a serious part of your equipment. What about that? The Bø brothers' positions, 1 and 2.
Yeah, both having tremendous seasons, and of course Johannes Tinges back in yellow today. Tadej Bø down in 4th place in the World Cup rankings, but he's only 5 points off 2nd place, and having said that, he's only 21 points behind his brother, so a win from Tadej Bø today would turn things around nicely. Hofer doing well, but can he keep it there all the way through? The standing shoot's still a little bit dodgy when it comes to the final stages. Number 9, Pigdrushny, doing well, has got himself back up with that second group. Martin Fourcade, Mike, still at 49, having started at 39, so no real gains. So long to get his first round away.
And I think you were spot on with that. He pushed, he really attacked, skied the same pace as Johannes Tingesbø that first track, but he knew in the back of his mind he couldn't start shooting until he had some recovery. It's so dangerous when your heartbeat is thumping, you know you need oxygen. And there is an element of altitude here at 1,010 meters on the range.
Now I'm just wondering how big the gap has to be between 1st and 2nd before the race leader Johannes Tingesbø starts to be affected by it, because then there's some sort of expectation that you're going to win whatever.
Well, I remember at the World Championships when we said, when that gap got over a minute, we said this is danger territory because you've got so much to lose. You begin to think, oh well, I'm so far ahead, and weirdly, strangely, some doubt. We've seen it with some big name biathletes in the past. So that cushion, when it gets too big, it almost becomes too dangerous.
Well, I think we've got 5 Frenchmen in that train alone. Phil Maillet, Guiguenard, Martin Fourcade, Dessure is in there as well. They'll be hoping that 1 or 2 of them can break clear and start to chase down the race leader, who's on his own on the firing point. Key thing here is that he doesn't get distracted by the arrival of the next 4 athletes, one of whom is his brother.
Little high, maybe he has lifted his sights from last time. High again.
That's good shooting though, Mike. Those 10 prone shots probably all fall within a 2-penny piece.
He knows full well, because his brother landed next to him, that it'll be at least 31 seconds before the first of this pack come out, and some are going to miss.
Coming in, the margin was 33 seconds. All these men hit the targets first time round. No yellow flashes as yet in that chasing group. Loganov on 4, he makes it 5. Tadej survives in the group, and Alicia Ebenhofer, they all go out. There'll be a slight increase in the time from 33 seconds. Keep an eye bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Phil Maillet of France, 5 with 5. What about Martin Fourcade? Again, slow with the first round, and he misses number 5, making life very, very difficult for himself, the 7-time overall World Cup champion.
He built so deeply over so many years, never to miss the last shot in any sequence of 5, but unfortunately I think that shows that Martin is still a little bit, he's lost a little confidence, missing the 5th shot. And Pigrushny, he missed 1. Felix Leitner, the Austrian, missed 2.
So the 2 brothers, 1 and 2 again, and actually closing the margin by a second on that prone shoot. So Johannes Tingis doing just the job required. 12:43 on the clock, with 2 shoots completed, 2 in the standing position still to come. His margin now 1.5 penalty loops, and provided he saves something, he should be able to close down the rest of that penalty loop. So effectively 2 shots clear. He stays so focused, Mike. I'm trying to remember last year's race. He's through that phase where it all fell apart, that second shoot.
Yes, he is. It's although the second time in, surprisingly, he missed 3. That was last year. And I think because his skiing is a little slower this year, he's just building a little bit of safety, taking a little longer to release his first shot, and in fact throughout the whole sequence of his 5 shots. This is a man absolutely in control of the race.
Well, we've got 15 of the first 25 athletes have yet to miss a target. Standard of shooting is sky high, certainly compared to last week in Östersund, but the conditions much, much kinder here, as they usually are. Through the 6.2 kilometre stage, remember it's a 12.5 kilometre race, so he's just about at the halfway stage now.
The best movers, Patrick, up the ranking from where they started. Phil Maillet is good at 14-6, but the best is Fabien Cloud, 23rd to 11th, and he hasn't missed any targets either.
Pigrushny has gone from 9 to 15, so he's falling away. Leitner of Austria, even worse. He's gone from 8 down to 22, only missing 2 targets so far.
2 so far. That was the 2nd time in prone.
Hofer leading the train this time round. Tadej taking a little rest from chasing duties, and as a result the margin has grown to 35 seconds.
They've lost 3 over that 1.2 kilometres. That's an easy 1.2 kilometres.
What are you saying for Johannes Tingis? 21 seconds on the penalty loop?
Today, yeah, 21 to 23 seconds. So he's in a safe place. 18 attacking through there. Jacquelin.
There's Martin Fourcade wearing 10. Just behind him is Pigrushny. And again, the margin growing and growing. 1:14 behind. He's not out of it quite yet, but he's got to go clean on this 3rd shoot. Number 24, Arndt Pfeiffer, who's like many of the athletes, he will just shape his training and his racing to peak at the World Championships. That's where I expect to see the best of him this year. And Pfeiffer, has won many world titles in the past.
He has, and remember, leading into the Olympics 2018 in Pyeongchang, he podiumed in Antholz. He likes Antholz, so the World Championships there. He seems to perform well up there at altitude.
Benedict Doll at 53 seconds. Dessieux currently in 6th position. He's dropped to 8th over the last couple of 100 meters, now 54 behind. Lots to play for in this group. And remember that Dessieux lying 2nd in the World Cup standing. So if he drops away, that's a big advantage to Johannes Tingesbø.
It must be difficult, Patrick, for there's Martin Fourcade, not in the first of the chasing groups, but the second of the chasing groups, and he's not dictating things here. He's playing to someone else's tune here. He's not passing, not chasing, just surviving in at Pegrushny's pace. It's a good pace, but it's not the fastest. There's a long way to go in this race, though, when you get to your stand shoots. And I know that Johannes felt his legs terribly in Östersund when his skis were slow in the 20-kilometer. So many things can happen as this race builds when it comes to the stand shooting.
Well, here we go. The next 35, 40 seconds will tell us exactly what sort of shape he's in. If he hits 9 out of 10 in the stand position, the win is his. 9 of his 10 pursuit wins have come on the back of winning the sprint. And of course, he was victorious yesterday in the sprint. That certainly doesn't mean that every time he wins the sprint, he wins the pursuit. You've got to love it. Absolutely fantastic from Johannes Tingesbø. Down go 5. I'd love to see the stats on that shoot, but it got faster and faster and faster. Perfect reflexes. Not only have the others not arrived, but they didn't even see it.
But you know, sometimes the rifle just hovers over the target each time after the shot. The shot lifts it up. He was there, he was ready, and he took the risk.
Yeah, but anyone who's had a go at shooting in the fairground knows just how difficult that is to coordinate the mind and the finger.
It's incredible.
Even though it's only 3 foot away.
Oh, I tell you, Bo's missed one.
Loganov in a good position to go into second. He will do so. Good shooting from Loganov. Will Hoffer stay in the chase? Yes! Great for the Italian fans here in Austria to see Lucas doing so well. And of course, Dorothea Vera, you know, outstanding so far this season, leads the Women's World Cup. Fillon-Maillet with a miss, Cloud with a miss, Dole with 1 at least. No, make it 2. And Simon Dessieux, important 5 shots from him to keep his chase in the World Cup standings going. Now, former world number 1.
He's taking his time. Oh, he's missed the 4th.
Oh, I'd like to see his facial reaction to that. He will be seething with anger. Martin Fourcade, Pfeiffer with another miss, making life difficult. Windisch, who started number 7. Mass start world champion, remember this man. He likes the head-to-head. Simon Schempp usually does, but, you know, he must have a bent barrel this year, Mike. He's not hitting anything.
You know, he took the break after Christmas, after Oberhof, where he finished down in the 60s. He said, no, it's not happening for me. He took a long break, Schempp. I thought he was going to come back to his winning ways. It's not happening. Leitner, he missed 2 the last time in. He's cleared 5 this time.
So the margin between 1 and 2 is growing, but it's still very, very tight all the way down to, well, essentially 9th position. Nothing between 2nd and 9th, as you can see. Loganov, a good shoot on that 3rd shoot to put himself up into 2nd place, but Hoffer's gone with him. Alisiev 6 seconds off the podium at the moment, but the key really, Mike, that 39.7 second gap between 1st and 2nd. He's now got 2 shots advantage over the rest of the field. Nice shots of Ziggy Mazet watching on butterflies in his stomach, without a doubt. Doesn't matter how good your athlete is, Mike, you're still nervous when it comes to the 3rd shoot, and even more nervous when it comes to the 4th and final shoot.
You know, talking to Ziggy in Östersund last year, he was saying he's tried to take that sort of attacking, aggressive craziness, as he called it, from Johannes Tingesbø, where he'd just get up and fire 5 shots, miss 3 in an instant. He's tried to control that within Johannes Tingesbø, but Johannes felt comfortable there, and I don't think it was impetuous. He just felt comfortable and let them go. He's got a good lead though. It'll be 40 seconds, maybe 42, 43 seconds now. And more. So Johannes Tingesbo has found his rhythm, the routine, the rhythm that he had at his best last year. 47 seconds.
Well, there'll be a lot of people cheering for Lukas Hofer. I know it's away from Italy to here in Hochfilzen, but there are plenty of Italian fans here. He's only been on the podium some 7 times in his career, so it would be nice to see that happen again. Tadej Bo won't give up on the chase. He loves getting on the podium when his brother's there as well, but at 1:06 he's got work to do. It's got to be the perfect shoot from Tadej Bo. He's missed 1 so far today. 7 of the leading 9 have all hit 15 out of 15 so far, so the standard of shooting has gone through the roof, and they're really enjoying the fact that there isn't any wind around. It's
the perfect day in Hochfilzen. The descent, you do get that 35, 40-second recovery, apart from the little rise at the base of the range. Here's the great Martin Fourcade. Fourcade, 13th position, 1 minute 40.
1:42 misses, Mike, so, you know, that's some 50 seconds at the most added on.
And Martin, he won't be enjoying his biathlon again at the moment. Maybe a victory in the relay tomorrow, if he races, would help fix that.
Hey, a word for the crowd, because this is a great turnout and they love having people supporting alongside the tracks. This is a famous hill here. It played such a key role in the World Championships back in 2017.
The only thing missing, Patrick, for the crowds is Team Austria, the best, Leitner in 18th, and then we have to go a little further back to 28th, to Julien Eberhardt, so they normally expect their boys to be further up the field.
Yeah, and they had a really disappointing World Championships, actually. You know, if it wasn't for that sprint in the relay, they wouldn't got any medals at all. They came away with a measly bronze when they had the potential to win races. But again, Johannes Tingesbo, Lal Bailey was on such fantastic form in those days.
He had a great World Championships. In fact, looking at the American boys before Johannes comes in, Sean Doherty, 37th to 53rd, he's missed 5. Leif Nordgren, 45th to 55th, he's missed 5 as well.
Yeah, that's an extra 750 metres.
That's tough.
A high percentage of the race distance, 12.5 kilometres in all, 5 times round. The 2.5 kilometre loop here in Austria, and our race leader is back in. The chasers just disappearing under the road. Is he going to do the same again? 3 out of 5, and the race should still be his. 2 out of 5, we've got an interesting situation.
Lower stomach was pumping as much air in as he could. That was lucky low.
Oh, 20 out of 20, and with the ski speed that he's got, he is untouchable in that sort of form, and it doesn't matter where the fans come from, they have all got huge beaming smiles because they know just how difficult that is. Brilliant, brilliant performance from Johannes Tingesbo. He's on his way to his 3rd World Cup win of the season, and it's only the 4th race.
Superhuman performance that, to hold his nerve, to hold his technique. We saw the lower part of his stomach gasping, getting as much air in as possible. Now the pressure for 2nd place.
He said he couldn't match last year's performance, Mike. After 4 races last year, he had 3 wins.
Same as. Lukas Hofer has missed 2.
Loginov again, immaculate. A match for Johannes Tingesbo on the range, 20 out of 20. Lukas Hofer, 2 penalty loops. Don't think he's going to get his 8th podium finish. Jakob Fack has got a chance. Fack gets 5 with 5 in the stand yet again. He's turned it around. Bauer shooting much better as well. So all sorts of surprises with those who usually struggle so much with the standing shoot.
Johannes Kuhn, he went 0, 0, 0 penalties, and then 2 out of 5 in the last 5 shots.
Now we need Martin Fourcade to get 5.
Come on, Martin.
This is the one he struggled with. but down it goes this time, and the fifth one. That will certainly put a bit of respectability into the result. Is he going to be the quickest of the French? No, because Jacques Alain is away at 1:04. He's going to have at least 20-25 seconds to catch up on him. No Beur brothers on the podium this time, 1:25 behind for Talier, but credit, Mike, to Russia's Alexander Loganov, who shot absolutely perfectly. Didn't miss any targets yesterday. He hasn't missed any targets today either. 4
athletes have got that perfect score. It is the perfect shooting day in Hochfilzen, not a breath of wind, but you still have to be able to control and manage your pulse, your breathing. What a race. The shooting overall is good. And I think Jakob Fack, oh, there he is. I was going to say he's going to have a tough task with Dessau and Jacques Alain on his case. They were chasing him. Now they're ahead of him. Yeah,
Loganov, incidentally, even including the windy conditions in Östersund, is on a 95% hit rate in the individual races.
That's brilliant shooting, and he shoots very, very fast. Loganov, no fear. Alicia, well, it was only 1 target missed out of 20.
So having started with an advantage of 8 seconds, Johannes Tingis is going to come home with at least 30 seconds to spare. I think he'll try and conserve some energy. The men's relay tomorrow, it's still important. You know, there's a possibility with the Norwegian team being so strong that they'll rest Johannes Tingis, but I suspect he'll be back out on the tracks trying to do his bit for the team.
Be interesting. I mean, they need to take care of the gem that they have, Johannes Tingis. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if he sits out. Tough 3 days in Hochfilzen. Loganov, he's being a little tense coming into this one, just playing safe.
Yeah, he's got 15 to 20 seconds to play with. He can see exactly where the opposition are. I think he'll be comfortable that he can hold them off. Interesting race for 3rd place. Fac, Dessau, Jacques Alain. The French, the quickest so far this season. Simon Dessau, very quick out on the tracks yesterday, and he was 3rd fastest overall in the sprint, beaten by another Frenchman, Fion Maillet, in terms of course speed.
I just feel, I don't know why, the young Jacques Alain, I feel he's going to be pushing, even though on paper Dessau is the fastest by quite a margin ahead of his teammate. I think Dessau is going to try and pounce in the last 100.
Yeah, I think Fack needs to get on to the back of the skis of Dessau if he's going to have any chance of finishing 3rd. Lukas Hofer, potential podium finish, but all went wrong on the last shoot. Dropped out of the top 3, down to 9th position, and now finds himself in a battle with Martin Fourcade. Fion Maillet is there as well. Doll is there. Some incredibly quick skiers down in that group.
Loganov, he can't relax yet because he knows there's a almost breathing on him. 2 Frenchmen, 1 Slovenian.
Dessau going for it, but he's not going to have it all his own way, because Jacques Alain has decided that he can lead up this final climb. And actually, Jacques Alain opening up a decent gap, and having started 18th, he was 58 seconds behind at the start of this race. So we've got another Frenchman who's capable of skiing his way to a victory.
Incredible. You know, he was very relaxed in there behind Dessau, who looked absolutely exhausted from missing early in the race. That's a wonderful performance from Jacques Alain.
Yeah, so bear that in mind, and also bear in mind that Dessau was right up the business end of the race yesterday, so an enormous effort from him to secure 2nd place. Fack looked as though he was going to go through, but it's so easy to say when you're watching it. When you're out there and your heart is pumping at over 200 beats per minute and you just can't get enough oxygen into the lungs, the thought of putting in another couple of percentage points of effort doesn't appeal.
What a biathlete.
The master.
The grandmaster.
So that's his 41st win. 37 of them have come in World Cups. Add to that the 3 world titles he's got and his Olympic title from Pyeongchang. There's no stopping this young man. 26 now. And I remember when he burst onto the scene at Le Grand Ponnard, winning both the sprint and the pursuit. And of course, that is where we go next week. So we'll be looking forward to that and trying to notch up wins 4 and 5 for the season. logging off solid performances throughout. Started third, finishes second, and he should boost his position in the World Cup standings. He was 6th at the start of today. And what about Jacques Alain? Starting 18, he's got himself on the podium.
That's his best. Last year he managed to move up from 24th to 15th. 15th was his best all last season. He's on the podium today. What a run from 18th position to the podium. For third place, Jacques Alain.
And Jakub Fak, I think, 13 through to 5 and hitting 20 targets. You don't see that very often. So well done to Fak of Slovenia. Tadiabo, 6th place. He started in 6th, so no losses, no gains. Keeps his tally in the World Cup ticking along, but he really needs to start closing down on his brother. Number 5, Lukas Hofer across the line. Gets 7th. He'll be disappointed, having been right in the money for a top 3 at the final shoot. And Germany improving positions. Kern started down in 20. He's gone up to 12. Pfeiffer started 24. He's gone up to 13. And Benedikt Dull, the only one of the top 3 Germans to lose positions, 11 to 14.
Martin Fourcade was with himself unhappy. He left the range in 7th place. He maintained that for a lot of the way, but his own teammates now know they can beat him. Cloud came past, Fillon Maillet came past on the line, and Martin finished 10th.
Yeah, he's lost his aura. They no longer fear him. Not only can they outshoot him, they can outski him as well. And it must be tough. Martin, 7 years really ruling the roost with seemingly no effort at all. Suddenly along comes Johannes Tingesbo and it's capsized his boat.
And no flaws. He walked with confidence. He talked with confidence. He had no doubt. And unfortunately, Martin Fourcade, and that's what happens in a sporting career. If once you start getting nibbled at, once you start getting beaten occasionally, it nibbles away at your inner confidence, and he had tons of that in the past. I hope he gets it back.
But on the other hand, Mike, as the French coach, would you rather have one superstar winning everything, or would you like to have a team of 5 or 6 who are all looking as though they can win races?
But is at the cost of the great man himself?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. A team is far more important than an individual.
That is team life. That is the way it works in every team. But it happened to Björn Dahlin. It happened to Northug. In cross country, it happens to everybody.
Number 40, Mikhail Krishmar of Czech Republic. He's better than that, down in 29th. Well, what a race. Very, very exciting. And added to that, we had the demonstration of how biathlon looks when it's done at its best. Johannes Tingesbo opening up a huge gap, and really the damage was done on shoots 3 and 4. He cruised that last lap, lost 10 seconds to logging off, but there was, he had the luxury of a very, very easy final 2.5K.
He did. I mean, he did nothing wrong today. He kept a strong first lap pace. He maintained that almost all the way to the line. Backed off course in the last kilometre. He was safe.
So 3 wins out of 4 for Johannes Tingesbo. And of course, the closing stages of the cross-country about to take place in Davos. The biathlon will be back tomorrow. The men have their relay and the women have their pursuit. Dorothea Vera will be the athlete leading the way out of the starting gate in that women's pursuit. Should be another fantastic race. Do join us for that. But next, it's cross-country from Davos.
Und nochmal zurück. Johannes, what a day, 20 out of 20, another win and a little celebration as well.
Yeah, I was planning to do something if I shot clean, and luckily I did. What a great race, starting from bib 1, shoot 20 in front. It was quite hard to push hard from start, all race, but it paid off in the end, and the last loop was pretty chill, and it was a good time.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Måtte sjekke I løpet av løpet et par ganger, bare sånn, den, ja, da kan vi gå videre. Ja, det kan hende. Nei, du hadde vel prøvd å tatt deg, tenker jeg.
IBU World Cup Biathlon Winners Presentation für Men. Die Medaillen bzw. die Blumen und die Sektflaschen werden überreicht vom Vizepräsidenten der IBU, Klaus Leistner, und vom stellvertretenden Generalstabschef, Generalleutnant Johann Louis. Auf Platz Nummer 3, in third place, representing from aus Frankreich, Emil Schachler.
Félicitations. Merci. Et bonne chance. Merci.
An der zweiten Stelle, in second, once again on the podium, representing Russia, aus Russland, Alexander Loginov. Erster champion, first and winner, back to back, representing Norway, aus Norwegen, Johannes Dinjes Bø.
Great performance.
Auf Platz Nummer 4, in fourth, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for this man representing Slovenia, aus Slowenien, Jakob Bach. Auf Platz Nummer 5, in fifth, from France, aus Frankreich, Simon Messier. From Norway, aus Norwegen, Tarjei Bø. Und wir kommen zur Übergabe des Schumacher-Sektes, die österreichische Antwort auf Champagner. And once again, guys, give them a big hand. The top singers